I'm your host, Rob Carbone. This is BD4.
Barrett, some shake and bake. Gets a three. Tantalizing the crowd with Barrett. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye. Anthony for three. That one goes down. Gotta put four fingers up when Torres comes to the plate. The ball.
Like, this is just what they do, right? It's just what the Yankees do. They get you hyped up. Sorry about that. A bit of the friggin' light. One of the lights I use here in the studio just like fell off the table. But this is what the Yankees do. They get you hyped up. They fucking get hurt. Now, it's not like the biggest piece of news in the world. It's not like it's, you know, we're not starting the season with, you know, the way we've started them before, where we find out news about Severino or we find something out about Aaron Judge. It's Zack Britton. But it sucks because, you know, unlike the lineup, this bullpen isn't deep like it used to be. Yeah, Zack Britton, at least 3 to 4 months after finding out, the Yankees found out he had a bone chip in his left elbow, his throwing elbow. And so, you know, he's got to get surgery and he'll be out at least 4 months. And in Yankee terms, I'm going to say, you know, 4 months is the very bare minimum. I wouldn't be shocked if he missed the year. Honestly, I wouldn't. If he missed the entire regular season and then some, I wouldn't be shocked, because this is the Yankees we're talking about, and, you know, we know how this works. Yeah, so an already shallow Yankee bullpen gets even shallower, losing by far their best weapon in that pen. So, man, I think this is right after the Yankees. Didn't they pick up his option? So, it sucks because he obviously is their best weapon. He's one of their most reliable pitchers in the bullpen. He's got that, what they call the bowling ball sinker. Just a ground ball machine. Somebody you're not scared when he comes in, because you know 9 times out of 10 he's going to keep the ball in the park. And, you know, this is a guy you like. Despite the walks and the control issues at times, most of the time he's going to get out of it because of his stuff. And you're comfortable with him, with Britton. He's the only pitcher I'm 100% comfortable with coming into a game to relieve one of the Yankee starters. And now he's out. So, you know, we're left with the bullpen that already needed help, even with Britton in there. Now they just don't have a go-to guy. They're going to have to hope one of these men step up. You know, Chad Green, Aroldis Chapman, Darren O'Day, who they just acquired this offseason. I think he was with, what, Atlanta? Who else do I have written down? They went out and, you know, brought back Justin Wilson, Luis Sessa, and then it gets ugly, you know. Nick Nelson, Johnny Lasagna, Adam Warren, Michael King, Nick Goody, maybe Brooks Kriske, Kyle Barraclough. I mean, it gets really ugly, right? There's not. That's how the shallow it is. There's not much depth there anymore. Not without Britton. So, you know, this is what I've been talking about. How all it takes is one. All it takes is one injury, because in that bullpen, they're not deep. And just, you know, as much as we can rely on one guy, it's same with the rotation. Gerrit Cole. Garrett Cole, so good. All Yankees fans were flipping out when they got him. I was very happy. But they acted like that was going to fix their rotation issues. And it's the same thing with Britton. You know, we love how Britton's pitched, but a lot of people still call this bullpen elite. And maybe it's just delusional Yankees fans on the internet, but yeah, it's not. It's not close. It's more mediocre in my opinion. I don't like this bullpen. It's scary. It used to be scary, but now it's scary, if you know what I mean. You know, we're on the other side of the spectrum here with that definition of scary. So yeah, let's start with. It's going to be a quick episode tonight. Probably not going to go too deep because it's just an update one. Just talking about how the Yanks lose Britton and what we can expect now from this bullpen. Who's going to step up? And, you know, I don't know, man. You're hoping Chad Green is that guy because he's the most talented guy in the pen, right? He's got the highest ceiling. He's got, obviously, the great fastball, right? It's got a good spin rate. They always talk about it. And he's also developed a nice changeup. Has the right-hander. But Green, I don't know what it is, man. He's kind of an enigma, at least to me. Like, he's good, but he's never been... He hasn't been the same. Do you guys remember 2017 where he was spectacular? He hasn't really been the same guy since. And I'm not asking him to go out there and do what he did then because he was ridiculous. But, you know, he was spectacular in 2017. Then he started declining a bit. 2018, he wasn't the same, but he was still very good. But then 2019 comes, you know, that's the year where he gets, didn't he get sent down to the minor leagues? He went down he got sent down to Trenton and had some ups and downs in the year. And then last year, during the 60-game season, it was another mixed bag for Chad Green. So, you know, can he be a big weapon? Sure. He's got the highest ceiling in that bullpen for sure, I think. But he's not really guaranteed to give you that, or he's not close to guaranteed. Like, you don't feel like he's going to go out there and replace Zack Britton, you know, and be that guy. You don't know, rather. You know, he's the closest thing that can get you to that level that Britton was pitching at, but you still don't know if Chad Green is going to give you that. Because he's an inconsistent pitcher. He's pretty inconsistent. You know, he hasn't had that year in a while where he's been below 3.10 ERA. I was going to say sub 3, but we'll give him flack. But he still hasn't been... We'll give him some slack, but he still hasn't been, you know, he hasn't been below 3.10. He's been, 2 years ago, he was 4.5. Last year, he was 3.60 or something like that. He's up and down. You know, he's going to throw that fastball. He's an aggressive pitcher. He'll attack you. He's not afraid, but sometimes that gets the best of him because in a league like this, there are a lot of fastball hitters, and you can't just live off of that. And yeah, he's developed a changeup, but it's still not his pitch. He still loves to throw that heater. And I'm not the biggest fan of this bullpen because I don't think it has much outside of Britton. So I'm not just going to say, oh, Chad Green will step up and Aroldis Chapman will be great, because I'm not even big on Chapman anymore either. He's obviously the closer. But they can toy around with him, you know, now that they have O'Day. But we'll get to O'Day in a second. Chapman's, you know, kind of coming off a an injury-riddled 2020 where he wasn't the greatest either. He was very up and down. He only threw 11 innings. Come the playoffs, he, once again, big spot, he choked. He's no stranger to letting up big-time home runs. There was the whole thing with Rafael Devers. There was obviously in the playoffs 2 years ago against the Astros, Altuve. You want to use the cheating excuse? Go for it. Well, he did it against the Rays last year. He's given up some big hits. You know, the fastball is declining. You know, it's no longer 103, no longer 100. It's down to, 97, 98. He's 33 years old now. Again, coming off a season where he dealt with some injury. He's in a league where you can't just dart fastballs at hitters anymore because, much like I said with Chad Green, these guys are ready for it now. Everybody throws hard now. So, I've still got concerns with Chapman. And yeah, O'Day's cool. But he's obviously he's a veteran with a good resume, right? He's got a pretty good career under his belt. Coming in as he's a right-hander, but he's got the submarine, arm angle. So it gives batters a different look, right? With that submarine style. But, looking at him, he's 38 years old. Yeah, he had an elite season last year, 1.10 ERA, but it was 16 innings. It was 16 innings. And as a matter of fact, over the last 3 seasons, O'Day has only thrown 40 innings. A little over 40 innings. So, I don't know what to expect with him. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm saying all these guys are bad. No, these guys are good pitchers. But for a team that has World Series aspirations, with a rotation that has these question marks already, you would hope that your bullpen is at least somewhat deep. And it's not very deep. It consists of a bunch of guys who can be good, but you don't know that. Or you aren't close to knowing that, right? Justin Wilson, we brought him back, but is that, it really gets ugly after you look at Chad Green and Chapman. Wilson's an average relief pitcher. He was with the Yankees back in 2015, I think. He was like 5-0, but he's not that special. He's got a 3.66 last year. He posted a career second best ERA in 2019. 2.5. But that's, you look at his entire career, he's been, just a so-so middle reliever. He's a left-hander. Sure. But just up and down the Luis Cessa, really? Is that going to be our guy now? We need some guys to step up, and I don't know if Luis Cessa had a career year last year with a 3.32 ERA. That just speaks. That says it all. His best year was meh. Nick Nelson? The Yankees really like Nelson, actually. I don't know. Is that going to be... I don't see him being the guy to step up. Sure, there could be that guy who always steps up every year that you don't expect, right? So maybe it's him. Aaron Boone raves about him. Cone always does on the telecast. He's always hyping this guy up. The high octane fastball. The special changeup. He had a 4.79 ERA in 11 outings last year. He's not, I don't think he's a top prospect or anything on that list. They just like his stuff and they think he can be good, but again, these names don't excite me. They don't stand out as guys who I expect to be, top weapons. Is Johnny Lasagna going to have another spot? They like lasagna too. He's got a lively fastball, the high spin rate, blah, blah, blah. A curveball that generates a ton of, swing and misses. He's got the stuff. Good cutter. And a changeup to equalize lefties. So, a good 3-pitch mix. But he's not really done anything yet. His ERA, if you want to throw him something, throw him a bone. His ERA has gotten lower year by year in his 3 seasons. But he's still, again, he doesn't jump out at me. He's more just this versatile pitcher who you can start, relief, close, or piggyback. Is that the new term we're using now? To come in after the opener. But I'm just not impressed with these guys. Lasagna doesn't impress me. You can throw me all the analytics, sabermetrics you want. But I'm about results. He is not consistently given the Yankees results. Especially for how much they hype him up. It always seems like every time Lasagna comes into the game, he's working so hard to get easy outs against bottom of the orders. Last postseason, he allowed 6 base runners and 11 batters faced. But every time he comes in, he's pitching full counts. He's putting people on. People are fouling his pitches off. These high pitch count outings that just kill the momentum of the game. I haven't seen enough from him. Adam Warren, he's back. Is he gonna, Michael King? I'm not impressed with this prospect either. This is another big prospect the Yankees talk up. I've not been too impressed with him. He's shown some flashes, but it's always the same result in the end with Michael King, where he implodes. He starts out good, he'll have an inning or two where he looks good, and then he'll implode the third time he goes out there. He needs a third pitch. The Yankees are where he's been talking about how he needs a third pitch to go to. He's got that sinker. He threw that about 60% of the time last year, but batters hit almost 320 on it. The curveball is his only secondary pitch. He's talked about, just fucking spit. He's talked about adding a changeup. I don't know if we've seen that changeup yet in the spring. I only think he's had maybe fucking 1 outing. But I'm not fucking. I don't go nuts over Michael King either. Nick Goody, Brooks Krisk. I don't even know how to say this kid's name. I don't even know who. Kyle are the Barraclough, or those guys going to be? I don't even know. It's just a ton of mediocre names that have a chance to crack this bullpen, and you figure the Yankees are going to carry an extra pitcher on their 26, and that means there's going to be 1 or 2 names that you look at and you go, who the hell is this guy? And so for a World Series contending team, supposedly, that's not the most comforting thing, especially when your rotation isn't the deepest either. Their bullpen has been regressing, surely, year by year. 2017, they were 3rd in ERA. 2018, they were 4th. 2019, they were 9th. And last season, they were 16th. Finally below league average. They keep losing big names, or they keep getting guys who get hurt. Zack Britton this year. Blah, blah, blah. They just find a way to be underwhelming. And this puts pressure on an already questionable rotation. Behind Garrett Cole, it is very, very up in air. Is it going to be Corey Kluber? Corey Kluber's what? Nearing his mid-30s. He hasn't pitched much in the last 2 years. Does he have one more good season in him? Does he have a number 2 quality season in him left? Is it going to be Jameson Taillon, 29-year-old who's had 2 Tommy John surgeries? It could be, but again, there's that floor. I don't think anybody would be shocked if he struggled or if he got hurt, because it's happened before with him. Jordan Montgomery is who he is. He's not going to be your number 1A, 2. He's going to be a middle to back end of the rotation guy. Give you some quality outings, but most of the time, he'll be who he is. He's okay. Davy Garcia, Domingo Germán, they're two very young pitchers who have potential. But young prospects like Garcia, they're unpredictable. Severino ain't coming back for a couple of months, maybe a month or two at best. When he comes back, are the Yankees going to take it easy with him and not let him go too much? They're going to have these restrictions on his pitch count and his workload and the innings. You know, it's just after Gerrit Cole, who the hell else is going to pitch into the 7th inning for you? You know? And that's the problem. Because even if Chad Green does pitch really, really good this year and bounces back and is more consistent than he's been in a while, the other 4 nights that Green is not pitching, say somebody gives you fucking 5-6 innings. 5 innings. Okay, Green comes in, pitches the 6th. You still have 3 more innings to get from a... You know, it's I don't see it being consistent. It's just the fucking pitching staff from top to bottom, rotation, bullpen. It's rough. It's very clunky. It always seems to be the same every year. But, you know, are we going to be fine in the regular season? I hope we can win a division. All right, we're going to win games enough to get into the playoffs, knock on wood, but I hope we can at least take the division this year and bounce back there. You know, I know the Rays lost some people. Fucking, was it Blake Snell to San Diego? But I still think they're going to be good. You know, they were just in the World Series. I still think the Blue Jays are on the up and ups. They might be even better, make a push this year once and for all. It's, you know, I don't know what Boston, I don't know, but the Orioles could be coming somewhat, but they're still probably going to be below us. It's just we do have more competition at the top of that division. And so without Zack Britton, you have a shallow bullpen, and then beneath Garrett Cole, you have a shallow rotation. So the bats will probably be good enough to where the Yankees will fucking contend, and you just hope that it can be enough to win the division. You know, is this going to be enough? Can they survive this in their regular season? Hopefully Britton's back by the 4-month span they're saying. But without him, you know, it's not the worst in the world, but I just wanted to come on here and say my take on it real quick. You know, it's the same old Yankees where they're relying on their offense to get by. And it may work in the regular season, but we all know how the story works. We've seen this fucking team. So I'm hoping it's no. I just want guys to fucking step up, man. It would be wonderful if we could get one more great year from Kluber here, or if we could get Tyone to finally reach his peak and pitch really good for New York, and then the other guys complement. Or it would be good if Chad Green is a bit more consistent this season, or if Aroldis Chapman is healthy, you know, and somebody else in that pen steps up to help them too. That's what we want. So that's all I've got. I'm not even going to waste my time and head to break or anything like that. No commercials today. But yeah, this is your host, RJ Carbone. Guys, if you haven't yet tuned into the podcast and subscribed, well, you're obviously tuning into the podcast. But if you haven't yet subscribed to the show, be sure to do that right now. You can find BD4 on all the platforms, you know, every feed that you get your podcast on. So subscribe to us on all those platforms: Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, SoundCloud, and you can watch us on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, do that right now. Give us a like on the video. Comment. Review us on Apple Podcasts. Rate us, write a review. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just hope that we get some guys who can really fill in here and do the job. So let's head to the question of the day, and we'll wrap it up because there's no need to go too far tonight. All right, so last time out in episode 219, this is Ep 220. But in 219, I asked you guys, which Yankee had only 12 strikeouts in the 1950 season? The answer to that question, it was Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra struck out only 12 times in the 1950 season. Incredible. This episode's NYK question of the day, episode 220, is, after leaving the Yankees midway through the 1957 season, how many teams did Billy Martin go on to play for before retiring in 62? Alright, so one last time. After leaving the Yankees midway through the 57 season, how many teams did Billy Martin go on to play for before retiring in 62? Alright, so message me the answer or comment the answer on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. This is episode 220 of BD4. I am your host, RJ Carbone. And once again, just a quick little episode, giving a bit of an update how the Yankees lost Zack Britton today for at least 3 to 4 months. Probably going to be more. Wouldn't be surprised if it's the entire year, because that's how it works in New York when you're a Yankees fan. Injuries just fucking never end well. You know, I said on Twitter in a joking manner earlier, I'm going to hit the under on 1.5 months before one of Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton goes down or has discomfort in their elbow or shoulder or calf or hamstring or something like that, or back. It'll happen. Something will happen. I just tired of these injuries, but you know, hopefully this is not a fucking indicator of things to come. Hopefully we'll be all right and everything can get back to it, and you know, I'm sure we'll survive to an extent. I just hope that guys can step up, because I don't want it to be another underwhelming regular season. You know, last season I was saying when we had all these injuries how we'll still be great in the regular season, we'll still win the division, and then we'll go from there. But we didn't even do that. We were very average in the season, and that we did not win the division. So I've tried to not take things for granted, I guess, anymore. And you know, so without Britton, we're gonna have to hope that we get guys who step up in both the pen and staff, the 5-man staff. So we'll see. So we need to get back at it. Right? We need this division, need to pen it, and we need to get to the World Series and win it. So hopefully this is the year. Hopefully the injury bug doesn't come back to bite us again, and that we can figure out a way to stay somewhat healthy here and keep our big guns on the field, on the mound, etc. So, guys, thank you so much. That's all we've got for this one. Once again, I am your host, RJ Carbone, and this is episode 220 of the podcast, BD4. Thank you so much for listening or for watching, and I'll see you next time out. All right, guys, ciao. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor.